Jim Jordan now saying, making claims, and starting an investigation into Jack Smith. Why? Because it seems like there's at least enough evidence to point to there being tampering of the evidence from the Mar-a-Lago raid. Obviously, the documents that were found, but now, Will, there is more coming out about this, and Jim Jordan and some of the other people are taking action.
That's right. Jim Jordan, in his capacity as the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, sent a letter late last night to Jeffrey Ragsdale at the Office of Professional Responsibility within the Department of Justice. Yeah. And he starts off the letter with, on Friday, May 3rd, 2024, Special Counsel Jack Smith acknowledged in a court filing that some of the evidence in President Trump's classified documents criminal case was altered or manipulated after it was seized by the FBI in its raid on Mar-a-Lago. This acknowledgement presents grave concerns about the department's commitment to impartial justice, whether the special counsel's office misled a federal court, and whether the special counsel's office strenuously upheld the, quote, highest professional standards of the Justice Department.
We are taking some cool action right now on that, and we're reporting the news. So we have this article right here, this letter that was written. So we're able to read through it with you. We'll let Harry Hutchinson, one of our senior attorneys here, really break down what the legal implications are of it.
Given the indisputable evidence showing that boxes of evidence seized by the FBI at Mar-a-Lago last year have been tampered with, and given Special Counsel Jack Smith's admission that there were boxes of evidence where the order of the items within the box is not the same as the associated scans, and also given the fact that Jack Smith has admitted that his previous representation to the federal court was inaccurate, I think we can safely conclude that Jack Smith has tampered with or mishandled classified documents. And so then the question becomes, should he now charge himself with mishandling classified documents?
Not only now do you have, like you said, this sort of tampering of the evidence, maybe it was mishandled, what does that look like? And not unlike some of the Trump situations, it seems like because it was President Trump, it was handled with haste, it was handled maybe a bit sloppy because they were just trying to get him. And that can bite you, especially in the law.
Well, everyone remembers the famous photo where they staged it and made it look like the FBI fanned out all these documents and took the photo and released it of, look at all these documents. It's so disorganized. Yeah. Right, but it wasn't that. Right. That was a staged photo by the FBI after that raid. But it also goes to show that this is kind of the MO for the FBI and de facto the special counsel's office when it comes to this operation and this investigation. And as Harry pointed out, I want the listening audience to remember, this isn't just an allegation at this point. One of the main reasons that Jim Jordan is now sending this letter to the Office of Personal Responsibility at the Department of Justice is that when the lawyer for the defendant raised this question, said, hey, you gave us evidence, is what you have to do when you're defending a client. You have to look through the evidence to build your case, and said, something's awry here. These scans don't match up with the evidence boxes you've given, and like the list of what's in it doesn't. But then Jack Smith had to file a response in court when this motion was raised, admitting to that yes, some of these things, and our previous statement to the court, which was that all the boxes were in their original intact form as seized, was an inaccurate representation to the court. So they even admitted that
so
they're already doing this
wrong. It's not just an investigation it is an investigation, but it's not just an investigation. They've already essentially admitted the truth, which is these were handled incorrectly, that the report that they received, labeling, again, what boxes each document was in and so on, was not how it ended up. And now they're having to potentially face some consequences. And that's why there are people like Jim Jordan in there to make sure things get done.
Jack Smith has essentially condemned himself. And so then the question becomes, what will the DOJ's Office of Professional Responsibility do to ensure that department attorneys perform their duties in accordance with the highest professional standards? The DOJ has demanded that former President Trump basically handle the documents consistent with the highest, quote-unquote, professional standards. Right. But nonetheless, the DOJ itself has mishandled the documents, and they've admitted they mishandled the documents. And so one of the things that I think should happen, at least potentially, is that the judge should hold a hearing and perhaps consider throwing out at least some of the charges related to the mishandling of evidence by Jack Smith.
After this kind of broke in that filing, there's also reporting from CNN that Trump's attorneys are indicating that they're going to file a motion with Judge Eileen Cannon, who has been seen as one of the more favorable to the defense judges of all the Jack Smith cases, but probably just the most fair judge that has been drawn in one of these cases. But they're indicating they're going to file a motion to dismiss prosecution if they cannot prove in a reliable way how they seized and handled key evidence in the case, which would be central to the issues at trial. Do you think that that's an opportunity here, that this could get thrown out before it even makes it to trial?
I think that's possible, certainly with respect to some of the charges, if not all of the charges. And I think it's also imperative to remember how differently the DOJ under Jack Smith is handling the case against Donald Trump, and how differently the special counsel investigating Joe Biden handled classified documents with respect to the Biden affair. Remember, Joe Biden kept basically classified documents in a garage with his Corvette.
As you do.
Yes, I guess as you do. Yeah. And Joe Biden has admitted that he shared these classified documents with an individual who was not vetted or did not have permission to review those documents. Why? Because Joe Biden had an $8 million contract to write a book. So one of the things that I think the American people can clearly see is a differential in treatment.
Right.
As chairman of the Judiciary Committee, it is his job to perform this oversight of the Department of Justice, and he's asking for very specific things from the DOJ and the Office of Professional Responsibility.
All right, what we got?
They want all documents and communications referring or related to any allegation of ethical impropriety or any OPR investigation concerning the conduct of Jack Smith, Jay Bratt, or any other attorney. All documents and communications referring or relating to the manipulation of documents seized from President Trump's residence in Mar-a-Lago, and all documents and communications referring or relating to Jay Bratt's interactions with Walt Nauda's defense counsel, including allegations that Bratt attempted to coerce Mr. Nauda's cooperation. And that's the judgeship issue that Harry was referencing earlier. And he gave a deadline for all these documents no later than 5 p.m. on May 20th.
That's right. A pretty quick turnaround.
That's right.
For the government, incredibly quick turnaround.
And that will provide them with their oversight and whether or not they can do criminal referrals to the Department of Justice, ironically. They can withhold funding. They can do a lot of things because Congress does have this oversight role.
It's important, Will, to have people like Jim Jordan in those situations to stand up, because this could have easily just breezed past. And I'm sure that's what they were hoping for. They said they filed a motion over this and said, hey, it's not exactly true. We were a little off. We mishandled some documents. No big deal, right? But no, you have someone like Jim Jordan out there doing his job.